After his appointment on Saturday, I'm here with brand new Taunton Town manager Richard Luffman. First off, Richard, congratulations on landing a role.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm very pleased.
What attracted you to the job?
Well, I think it's the size of the club and sort of the scale of the opportunity, really. Yeah, I mean, everyone locally in non-league knows how much of a big club Taunton is, and what great support it's got. And I just felt, obviously, it's had a difficult 6-9 months, which has sort of been well documented, and it's a great opportunity for a sort of fresh challenge, a reset, and get going again, really. So yeah, huge opportunity, and one that I was delighted to be appointed on and given the faith by the board that selected me to take it on, really.
So what would you say your goals are for this season on like a personal level and for the squad as a whole?
Well, winning games of football, Saturday afternoon is always much more enjoyable when you win a game of football. I think we have to be a little bit realistic. It is going to be like a transitional sort of period for the football club. There's going to be a lot of change with sort of personnel and staff and everything like that. So, we've got goals. I'm not sure, if I'm prepared to share them now in case we're shut down, but, certainly being stable and halfway up the table at the midway point would certainly be deemed a success, I think. And I think just that being a bit realistic it's going to take a little bit of time. But what the biggest aim is that come the end of the season, we're in a much sort of stronger position than where we find ourselves at the start. And that gives us then momentum to carry on over the next 2-3 years to properly grow as a football team.
Yeah, absolutely. So you admitted yourself on your own personal social media, it's been a pretty hectic couple of days for you. So what has your first sort of 3 days look like as Taunton Town manager?
Most of it with a phone glued to my ear, to be honest with you. So obviously I've got to put together a whole new management team. We've got to put together a whole new squad with some of the existing, but majority new. So talking to sort of contacts that I know within the football, I think would be an absolute asset to the football club. And really, it's more at this stage we're setting up meetings with new players. But first off, the most important thing was to the existing players at the football club last year, and certainly over what they've done in March and April with the sheer volume of games that are to catch up on, giving them the opportunity to hear about my plans and whether or not they wanted to be involved in that venture. And that was the first port of call, because I think Rob, his management team, and the players have had a fantastic sort of period over 3-4 years. And whilst it maybe didn't finish as well as they'd probably hoped last season, they've done a fantastic job. So it was getting on the phone to the players first and foremost, speaking to them and going from there, really.
So as a lot of people know, we've got a very dedicated and passionate fan base here at Taunton. And he's spent the last few days interacting on social media. How important do you think the fans are going to be to Taunton's success this season?
Yeah, well, I think I've been sort of really, really happy with the reception I've had. And I wanted to take the time, maybe not be able to do that throughout the season after a win or a defeat, to engage as much as that on social media. But I think it was important to sort of thank everybody, and I've tried doing that individually. And I don't think the supporters probably realise themselves. I've spoken to so many players over the last 3 days, as I've just mentioned, and every single one of them, the biggest sort of attraction to Taunton Town is its support. So they're going to be absolutely vital for us this season. We've the spells I've had at previous clubs, I've always had a good home records. I think at Cribbs, we only lost sort of 3 games over like a 2.5-3 year period at the Lawns, and we did that with a very small, in comparative to Taunton fan base. And whilst they were excellent great people, I've got so much time for Cribbs, we'll be able to do this on a much larger scale. And if we can get 300-400 at the end, sucking the ball in the back of the net for us and getting behind us and creating a really positive environment, the players will thrive within that. And I think, like I said, it has been documented. We've had a tough periods. That is hopefully the slate is wiped clean. We can all get sort of rolled into one that we've got new board of directors, some of them, and the existing ones as well, that are really keen on making this a brilliant football club. You've got a new manager and there'll be lots of new players, and we need the support to really get behind us, because they're going to be more important than any other person at the football club.
So you said yourself you worked with Cribbs last season. You helped guide them to a third place finish in their first season at Step 4, and managed a squad that managed to keep one of the best offensive records in the league and got 56 and 36. How do you think your tactical style will translate from Cribbs to Taunton?
Yeah, I mean, it'd be different. There'd be some fundamentals that won't change. I think hard work and endeavour is absolute. And I know that goes without saying, but nobody will put in less than 100% for me, because I won't allow that. We always outrun teams. We're the fittest in every division that we've ever been in at Cribbs, and every team that I've managed to have a big thing on fitness. We'll be in, two nights a week when we haven't got a game. Every Saturday when games are called off, we'll be in and we'll be working hard, and that'll be probably different to perhaps it has been over the last couple of years, because we're going to go local, and that allows us to do that. In terms of the style, I mean, a lot of it's going to be dictated by the people that we can get through the door. We're confident that we can get the right people in that will allow us to play the way that we want to. So the profile of the team will be, big, strong, competitive, but can play as well. I think that's really important. We like to play with wingers. So, we want to play with a front three. We want to get on the front foot. Rock and roll football, if you want to call it that. Lots of big tackles, lots of energy, but most important, I think this is, you've got to create more chances than the other team. So we're going to keep the back door shut. We're going to be really excited in the final third, and hopefully we'll leave the front players to do their business, basically.
That's certainly the style of football we like to hear. So we talk about building the squad, we talk about building profiles. The job is made a little bit harder. We've had a couple of pretty notable departures for summer already. Club captain Nick Grimes and club stalwart Ollie Chamberlain already announcing that they'll be leaving the club at the end of their contract. How much of last year's squad do you anticipate will be staying on with us?
Well, obviously, I didn't get the opportunity to speak to those two. That happened obviously prior to me being announced and in the job. And they're going to be huge losses for the football club, both great players. There will be a turnover of player. The budget is very different this year to what it was last year. So straight away, that obviously means that you have to make some changes. I've spoken to absolutely all of them, and I will say that all of them have been terrific on the phone to me today and yesterday when I've spoken to them. We're hopeful we can keep 2 or 3 of the senior players, and we're in talks with those. We've got 3 or 4 of the younger players that perhaps haven't played as much over the last couple of years that we're really keen to give an opportunity to, because there's some real talent within the younger sort of players within the squads. So, if we can keep 5 or 6, I think we'd be happy with that. And then obviously that's where we'll look to add to the rest of the squad after that, really.
So following on from departures, the question that obviously everyone wants to ask, when can we sort of expect the first few through the door?
Well, we've got a couple that are agreed. Maybe not no pen to paper yet, but certainly verbally agreed. So we're making really good progress with that, Max. Like, I think there has to be a little bit of patience probably for us to get everyone that we want to over the line. But we've got a young forward that's very, very close that we're hopeful that we can announce soon, who's scored a lot of goals over the last couple of years. We're in talks with some really big players at the level, some really, really good young players that I know from my time in Step 4. So, yeah, in answer to your question, they're coming. They're really, really close. The management team is close to being secured and sorted. We've got some really exciting friendlies. The work was already done through the football club prior to my arrival. I looked at it and it's perfect. I've got some great friendlies. We've added 1 or 2 more since I've sort of come in the door. So yeah, I'd imagine maybe 1 or 2 this week. Certainly a fair few more than that the week after. We've got some important meetings, sort of Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday this week that we're out meeting people. So if we can get those conversations the way that we want them to go, then hopefully we can get them to commit sooner rather than later. There will be there's a need for us to get the squad numbers up. So we will have to. We're not in a position where we can be patient on 1 or 2. So if our first choice, we don't get those over the line, we've got a lot of second choices and third choices in each position that we're talking to already. So yeah, very, very close.
Well, thank you very much for your time, Richard. It's been an absolute pleasure. Best of luck.
Thank you very much. No, much appreciated. you.